Is it gonna hold this time? We'll see. I had to jerry rig up a little tripod, basically. All right, so it is after hours. I'm very tired. It's been a long couple days, but I opted to stay behind to watch Lilo and Stitch tonight by myself at the theater. Um, Honestly, I don't remember very much of the original. I remember it came out in August of 2003 because I remember it was a couple weeks after my ex had moved in with me. It was my first live in relationship, sharing a domicile with someone. And I remember that was one of the first movies that we went to. She didn't have to work the next day, and I was running a Regal theater at the time, and I used to run all the movies the night before they came out, like I'm doing right now. Only people used to want to hang out with me. And I remember we watched that, and there was little parts of it I remember. I remember the Elvis soundtrack. I remember Kevin McDonald from the Kids in the Hall did a voice in it. I remember Ving Rhames did a voice in it. So when it came to this one, I remember liking the 2003 version. I had no idea that it had become as popular as it was again. All these kids now are wearing Lilo and well Stitch stuff. Even that short period of time where I was running an FYE, there was a whole Stitch section. I didn't realize the character had become that popular again because I was like, oh, it's just like this thing from like the early 2000s around the same time as like I think like Shrek 2 came out around that time as well. So I wasn't as slavish to the beats of this one, and with it being a another Disney live action remake and coming off the heels of the debacle that was Snow White, I didn't really have high hopes for this one. It's sort of like I've never seen How to Train Your Dragon, but I booked the live action remake just because I'm in a small town. I have a single screen theater. Our tickets are $5. I'm going with the hot hand. I'm going with the thing that I think will make me the most money, so I can keep this place going. And you know, so I coming off of Snow White, which bombed here. It did so poorly. You know that I was worried that with the small window, because even Captain America didn't do very well, and then Thunderbolts hitting. I thought Thunderbolts was great, and it didn't draw very well. So it's hard to say with people with Disney if they're gonna tune this one out. Now we had a really strong turnout for this tonight. I liked it. It felt more organic. It didn't feel as sterile and committee think as Snow White did. The CGI characters like Stitch and all, they they were rendered in a way that even though they were cartoony, they still feel like they integrated with the live action stuff. I thought the kid actor was great. I thought there was a sense. The one thing I do remember from the original one was there was a sense of it wasn't inappropriate, but there was a sense of cheekiness to some of the lines, and that carried over to this one as well. Where there were some funny little throwaway lines that the characters gave that were a bit more adult, and I really liked that. I liked the setting, obviously being in Hawaii. Zach Galifianakis does a voice in this one. They brought Jason Scott Lee back and Tia Carrera, which I thought was great because they were in the original one, and it's always cool to see them on the big screen. You know, they're big parts of the '90s for me. Everyone did a good job. It pulls at the heartstrings at the right time, like a Disney movie. It has the beats that you expect from these kind of movies, but for the most part, it didn't feel soulless, and I think that's the biggest thing that I took from it. Is I sitting through, we had Mufasa here, and I was just like, Jesus Christ, man! Like when we have movies like that in the theater, it kind of drains you a little bit because it's like you just see how empty these movies are, and it takes something away from the experience. I like when you come to a movie and you see something that if it's not exhilarating, like I don't have Mission Impossible this weekend. That's an exhilarating movie. I loved the last one, and I thought that a lot of people didn't go out to see it. But usually, when you can tell that a movie has something of value to give, it has a good message behind it about family, and it's funny, and the locations are cool, and and the little kid wasn't annoying, which I was worried about. It's funny, the original one, the little girl was not Hawaiian. It was the girl whose Samara from the not Ringu, the Japanese ones, but the American remakes. And I was just like, wow, it's funny in 2003 you could still get away with that. Nowadays, the internet would catch on fire if a non-Hawaiian person played a Hawaiian. I always look at like, how would you do Scarface now, where you have like Italians playing Cubans? But whatever, it's movie magic, man. You know, Peter Mayhew wasn't really a Wookiee. Who cares? But yeah, I don't know. I thought that Stitch was cute. I liked the little montages they had. Like I said, it was cool to see Tia Carrera in there and Jason Scott Lee. It was the Shame lady from Ted Lasso. Well, and Shame is from Game of Thrones. She played like the alien queen lady. I don't know. I liked it for a Disney movie. I wanted to stay after and watch it. Obviously, I have a little nostalgia now, remembering that, you know, what that movie meant to a person who I used to see, who's not with us anymore. And I remember she really liked it. I remember we were on the boardwalk that summer down the Jersey Shore, and I won her a Stitch out of the like those crane claw games because she really wanted it. So yeah, I'm glad I stayed to watch this one. I'm glad that it was an enjoyable film. And you know, everybody gives a good performance in it, and it was funny. And I think there's something in there for the kids, something in there for the adults. If you're a fan of the original one, tell me how it stacks up, because I should have gone back and rewatched the original one. I just haven't. And in this one it says it's a reimagining. Certain beats I kind of remember, but I don't remember enough of it for me to really judge it on its merits from the original to the new one. But if you're looking for something to take the kids to this weekend, or something kind of fun Disney wise, if you're one of those weird Disney adults, I'd say check out Lilo and Stitch. You know, you can't go wrong also with Elvis. You know, I'm a big Elvis Presley fan. I think I found a lot of when I reviewed the Elvis movie. For some odd reason, that review got picked up in the algorithm back when we used to get views, and I made a lot of new followers from like older people who liked my take on Elvis, which was, I didn't expect that at all. We never get picked up for like the weird cult films. It's always like something kind of wholesome. Well, not that, you know, Elvis. There's a lot of non-wholesome things, but it's funny when people pick up, you know, start following you from that kind of stuff. But whatever, it is what it is. Lilo and Stitch. Lilo's cute. Wait, no, which one? Stitch is the little creature. I was like, which one is which? Because there's a movie coming out called Elio as well, and I feel like they're putting Elio and Lilo out too close to each other. But what do I know? I'm not Disney. I'm just a dickhead who runs a movie theater. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't done one of these movie reviews in a while, just because I haven't really had anything to say. Not that I have anything to say here, but when the end credits rolled, I was like, oh, you know what? That was worth staying behind for. That was worth staying an extra, you know, hour and a half for. I mean, I live right next door, so it's not a big, huge deal. But when we got done work tonight, I was like, do I want to go home or do I want to watch this? And I was like, you know, I haven't watched a movie in a while. I'm going to stay behind. I'm going to watch Lilo and Stitch. And yeah, I enjoyed it for what it was. And maybe you will too. I think if you have kids, they're going to love it. And I had no idea that Stitch had become a big popular thing with kids again. So it's probably because of the TikTok or whatever. All right, goodbye.